In a weird turn of events, Cam Coldheart just died at age 31.
Right.
He was the one that became known for getting beat up by the baby at the Louis Vuitton store.
Which was about the biggest thing on the internet for that weekend. That was all everybody was talking about.
It was. He had actually reached out to us a couple of times to do an interview, and I'm like, I don't know what to do an interview about. It's really because he started that fight. Did you see the whole chain of events with that?
Yeah, I think I did a video about it at the time, so I spent a bunch of time looking into it and reporting on it a little bit. Yeah,
right. So the baby was minding his business at the Louis Vuitton store, and then this dude started to kind of troll him, and then in the process got beat up probably by the baby's security. And that became his claim to fame, essentially. But I guess he was a rapper as well.
Yeah, because I remember at that time I was sort of fascinated with watching his story because he was just doing so much rationalizing of why he just got his ass beat and how actually he wasn't a pussy, and you know, respect to him because he's gone apparently. But yeah, there was definitely an extent to which I was just like really fascinated by this guy. Like, what the fuck is he gonna say next in terms of like trying to make himself seem like the good guy in this situation? And we still don't know how he died, right?
They're saying it's a drug overdose. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure, but that was the word that I kind of heard.
Okay,
was that it was a drug overdose? Because at 31. I mean, I didn't hear it was a shooting or anything else like that. I didn't hear it was suicide.
Because that's what I was thinking is that if he got shot, every conspiracy-minded person is going to be making it out like, oh, the baby had a hit on him, etc. So
why? I mean, the baby walked away with it, the winner.
Like, does he care?
Yeah, he don't care about no damn Cam Coldheart at the time. But I think it really says something about the drugs these days. It just seems to me, now I'm not a drug guy.
Right.
I've said this. You know, I'm a weed guy. I've tried acid. I've tried ecstasy. I've done mushrooms, you know, a handful of times. But I'm really not the drug guy. I'm not the pill guy. Never tried cocaine. Never tried heroin. Never popped pills. But it appears to me that the drugs these days are just a lot more deadly than they were back in the day. I mean, do you get that impression?
Yeah, it's just like, you know, when I was a kid, it was like, or not when I was a kid, because I didn't even really know about pills and shit until I was like well into my 20s, but you never heard about fake pills back then. And now it's like, you know, when you hear about a rapper dying from taking some pills, it's like 90% chance that it's a fentanyl thing. Because you can, I mean, I've heard people talk about taking 30 Xanax in a night. It's really hard to kill yourself by popping pills. Now, I'm not saying that for anybody to tempt fate or anything, but it is kind of tough, like, you know, but when you take this fentanyl and it's literally 100 times more powerful than what you probably think is in this drug. I mean, it's actually really crazy that if that's how DMX passed, then that means DMX passed because of the same shit as Lil Peep, because of the same shit as Mac Miller, because of the same shit as a bunch of people. And I mean, very different generations, but yeah, I mean, when you hear about people dying from drugs these days, it's massively overweighted towards fentanyl stuff.
Right. And fentanyl is essentially a drug that they use to cut other drugs with to make them more potent.
Yeah, and I think that like when they're pressing fake pills, because like obviously the goal isn't to kill the person that you're selling the drugs to. I think the goal would be to sell them a pill that has, you know, whatever in it, and it's a small percentage fentanyl, because the fentanyl will get you super fucked up. The problem is that it's like if you take 2 or 3 times the amount that you thought you were taking, and these pills that they make when they're just pressing their own pills and shit, they're super inconsistent in terms of like what's in each individual pill. So you could very easily have a pill that's supposed to have an amount that you'd be okay with, and then it ends up being 10 times as much, and boom, you're dead. And it's over and over and over.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lil Peep died of a mix of fentanyl and Xanax. Mac Miller died of cocaine, fentanyl, and alcohol. Prince died of fentanyl. Let's not forget about that. I don't think Juice WRLD died of fentanyl. I think it was other pills. Real perks. But yeah, I mean, essentially, I mean, I've watched, you know, documentaries about fentanyl on 60 Minutes. It's essentially, it'll bring a drug addict to like the edge of death, which is why so many people even want it. It's like the ultimate high, but it's likely to kill you as well.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy for a 31-year-old who looked relatively healthy to just up and die.
Mm-hmm.
How old was Mac Miller? He was like, what, 30 maybe?
Probably about 30, maybe a little younger or a little older. But yeah, I mean, that's another one that, yeah.
Mac Miller was 26.
26, Jesus Christ.
Lil Peep was 21.
21.
Now, Peep you were actually close to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a video of him like kissing you in the head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which one hit you the most? Was it Peep? Or Juice WRLD?
You know, it's hard to say though, because like I felt like the Peep one hit me so hard because that was the first rapper I was real close to that died, like a young rapper. But then when X died, it was like I knew X a lot better than I knew Peep, you know? So that one really fucked me up. And then, you know, by the time you get to Juice WRLD, it's like, I don't know. There's a level of like fatigue that sets in when you're just losing so many of these young rappers that it's hard to feel it the same way that you feel the first one, you know? At this point, it's like I feel very, very calloused to the whole thing because it just feels so consistent. And I mean, there's a lot more rappers that you could throw on there too. But yeah, I mean, Peep, Juice, and X were all like super hard to take because, I mean, they're all super different, but they were all like really, really sweet, just incredibly talented people. And yeah, I mean, all those, you know, I was already long done doing drugs, but by the time I saw Juice pass and stuff, but the Peep thing really was a big part of why I stopped doing any drugs and stuff.
Really? So once Lil Peep died, you stopped completely. So what were you taking before?
I used to like, I had a phase there in the early days of No Jumper where like on the weekends I would go out, drink, always find Coke, and then usually find Xanax and just be doing all those back and forth, up and down. And it was a fucking nightmare when I look back on it. And I was just getting way too, you know, it was weird because it was like, I would do that Friday and Saturday, feel like shit Sunday, feel all right by Monday, be able to get into the office and work and like, you know, get stuff done through Thursday, Friday you start getting fucked up again. And it's like, you know, I was early 30s at this point. So I started to really feel it. And all of a sudden it's like, I remember me and my girl went to Rolling Loud in California, like the LA area. I forget what year this would have been, but we got fucked up on all those drugs. And yeah, it was like, it took me all day Sunday and basically all day Monday to feel better after that. And that was like, this is right around the time that Pete passed. And after that, I was just like, you know, I just 2-day hangover. I can't, you know, it just get to the point where it just is taking so much out of your week to be getting fucked up for a day or two that it's just like, how could I continue to do this to myself?
Yeah, I felt that way about ecstasy. The couple of times I took ecstasy, the next day you're so fucked up that I'm just like, I don't have this type of time in my life to just completely lose a day of just recovery.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just recovery.
Yeah.
You're not really accomplishing anything.
A couple of years ago, I was doing a vlog in the hood and somebody was trying to get me to do coke with them. Like while we're doing the vlog, they're like, let's do some coke. And it's like, in my head, it's like, I could do coke with you and I'm going to feel really good for, I don't know, half hour, an hour. Realistically, we're probably going to keep doing it. So probably the whole entire rest of the time that we hang out. But I mean, then I'm going to feel like shit afterwards. I'm going to feel like shit for the rest of the night. And I'm going to feel like shit the next morning. Why not just not do the coke?
Right.
And feel fine now. Go to bed, feel fine. Wake up in the morning, feel fine. It's just like a way better, safer bet. Because what you're really doing is you're borrowing against your future energy when you do drugs. You know, like a Friday night doing coke, yes, you will have a blast, but then you're paying for it the next day.
Right.
And it's like, for me, I've gotten to the point where it's like, I would rather have a steady, cool Friday night and a steady, cool Saturday morning. I mean, I stopped doing that shit before I had kids, but especially now, it's like when I see dudes drinking crazy ass amounts of lean and shit, and I know that they got kids at home and they're going to like, what are you doing? You're just like laying in bed, sleeping till noon with the kids all around you, screaming, freaking out. It's kind of hard for me to imagine balancing the drug addiction and the kid.